right there. Hello, everyone. It's me, and it's Mauler. We're here.
Hello.
We're ready. Our bodies are ready, our minds are ready, and we're prepped to take on some more super chats because there's a whole
I would say
bunch of them
so.
still outstanding from the last open bar. So, yeah. Well, is your mind ready, Mauler?
Always
All
for
right.
questions. You kidding me? Or statements?
Yeah. Or just abuse. You never quite know
Yeah.
what you're going to get with these super chats. It's great. Or like incomprehensible gibberish that we've got no idea what they were trying to ask us in the first place. You get all
Can't go
kinds of
wrong with
things.
those.
Yeah. They're the easiest because you just go, okay,
All
good,
right
moving
there.
on. Well, anyway, we got the first one here. So, King Theoden of Brohan says, what are you conspiracy theorists on about? Cleopatra was always a trans POC, and Fahrenheit 451 was always about climate change. Trust me. I mean, we do trust you. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
You,
It's Theoden after all.
I mean, yeah, the King of Brohan. Like that's a great name. I love it. NDG says, have you seen the Jedi Survivor trailer with Mark Hamill? He's more of a mentor in that than the entire sequel trilogy. Thanks for that, Ryan.
Oh, they're talking about he's like walking up to him while he's filming the game, so to speak, in the mocap suit and stuff, and he's giving him like bits of advice. And I guess it's just funny because it's like we all know what it looks like to have a wise teacher just telling a student stuff. It's not
Yeah.
hard. Ryan managed to find a way to just make it the worst thing ever.
Ryan always finds a way to make things the worst thing ever. He's got
Yeah.
talent for that, I would say. Jay's Soggy Taint, what a name, says, what the hell is even that? None of us know. Jesus Davila gave us a thumbs up and a beer, so thank you.
Hmm.
Beauty says, do you guys know about the channel pitch meetings? Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we do. They're generally very good. Yeah, I like their stuff, so very funny. Magnus TNT says, thoughts on SAS Rogue Heroes? I don't have any thoughts at the moment because I haven't watched it, but I've been told that it's really good, so yeah, sounds good as far as
Yeah,
I'm
I'm afraid
concerned.
I got nothing on that one.
Johnny Z says, in regards to Flounder, check out Melanie Mack's tweet from earlier today. Excellent comparison. Yeah, I think this was the the fish from the original Little Mermaid versus what we have now. This is the problem, right? When you do these like sort of semi live action CGI remakes of animated movies, you know, especially when it comes to animals. I think we talked about this the other night, but like you can put so much expression into a cartoon animal, like you don't have to worry about photo accuracy or whatever. But then when you get it to the level of like say the Lion King, where you've got essentially real animals CGI on screen, but they still have to say the lines and act out the scenes that you have from the movie. It's so weird, and it
Yeah.
doesn't work in the slightest. Like, and this is probably another example of it. It's a fucking fish. How else are you going to represent it except as a fish? Like, it's not like the original movie. So it's probably just another great example of why they shouldn't have done this in the first place. It's such a dumb idea.
I thought we learned from Sonic where they did that like quote unquote closer to real hedgehog. And then they were like, oh, let's just do the cartoon character.
Yeah, because like the fans were like, "Oh my god, what is this horrifying monstrosity with teeth and stuff?" Like, God.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, at least they had the common sense to backtrack and fix it. Like, Disney ain't gonna do that. Green Hat says, "Show Ariel and her sisters. It's bad." Okay, fair enough. Oh wait, yeah, this is there's another clip from the yeah. There's another screenshot from the movie where it's got Ariel and all the other mermaids. All right,
Oh,
can
okay.
can I dig it up here? See if I can find it in the short time that I've got available. I'm just getting the original animated one here. See, that looks fine because it's just, it's like a sing along dance number and stuff. Little Mermaid 2023. Okay, what you got? See, there's a couple of different ones.
Hmm.
Okay, probably the best one is here. Let's see if we can bring it up so you can see it. That's not great. Okay, I'll bring it up anyway so you can take a quick look. Alright, so yeah, you've kind of got it there, and you can get an idea of the casting in this one down here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so okay. Yeah, there she is.
I wonder how many people are going to be like reviewing this. When is it? It's not out yet, right? The Peter Pan one came out just now, I think, recently.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do a review of that tomorrow. Because I think particularly because I've done the trailer, I owe it to them to watch the movie and review it. So we'll see what comes out of that. I'm sure
Out
it's
of
going to be
respect.
great. But yeah, there's that. We've obviously got what's next? Guardians is coming out in the next few days, isn't it? That's going to be out this week.
I actually got done rewatching 1 and 2 today.
All
Well,
right.
to do today, but yeah, I'm trying to think of it as I'm going in to see the third film in a trilogy of sci-fi movies, I think.
It's going to be really interesting to see how
Um,
this plays out. Because if this movie underperforms,
yeah.
that's it. The MCU is done. If Guardians 3, which is probably the most hyped movie of this phase, if that doesn't succeed, they're done.
The thing is, the only lifelines I have are Guardians and Spider-Man, and both of them don't even feel like the MCU at this point. It's like,
Guardians was always kind of its own thing, and it's weird, right? Because I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Like the first Guardians movie, like I recognize that it's a fun movie. It's just a fun sort of goofy, sci-fi comedy type film. Um, I don't think it's this fucking masterpiece that people make it out to be, and it didn't like move me to my core or anything. It's just a fun sort of goof around movie. That's all it is, and it's it kicked off that sort of cosmic phase of the MCU. That was the first movie to really do it, wasn't it? Like take us off into like different parts of the galaxy and stuff.
yeah.
But that's all it was for me. I don't really get all the like crazy sort of mystique that seems to have been built up around it. And then the second one was just kind of fine, I guess. Like Kurt Russell probably salvaged what was a fairly mediocre like story, and that's it. So like I think that the third one will be perfectly competent and it'll be pretty entertaining. I don't see it as like the final movie of this epic trilogy that's going to rival like Lord of the Rings or whatever. It's not that. Like, am I crazy? Am I like cynical
I
and
put it on Lord of the Rings level, but I'd probably put it on maybe either on par above like the X-Men trilogy, if one was to call it that.
okay?
Maybe better. I don't know. I like it. Yeah. Like I said, rewatching it. I think the first one's better than the second one. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people feel that way.
Oh yeah.
But I still really like the character work in both of them put together, sort of thing. I'm in it for the characters. They have insane sci-fi tech all the time that's constantly changing, and I'd say James Gunn's not immune to finding his own jokes a little too funny. Like,
Yeah, well, Batista, like, it was like, hey, it's really funny when Drax like laughs too much at a joke that's not really funny. Let's just do that all the fucking time, and that
yeah,
that became
Drax,
like,
like him having like a big laugh at something the first time is like, heh. And then yeah, like you said, it happens like 6 or 7 times in the whole movie. And you're like, oof. The taser face joke. There's like 4 payoffs for that, and it's like, dude, I think the first time was already too much. Like taser face is not very. The
yeah,
reason that joke doesn't quite work for me is because I just like how stupid you have to be to think like, oh yes, taser face. That's a cool name. It's like,
yeah, and it's like, yeah, okay, and it's like everyone has the same reaction where they take the piss out of him, and it's just, yeah, like you said, it's paid off way too many times for what it actually is,
but of
and
course, compared to a lot of what we've been getting lately, if you watch those, you're like, oh shit, I forgot that's what the MC used to be. Okay, yeah, I remember. We're
do you
like,
think there's an element as well of like people were just amazed that James Gunn managed to make a go of like a pretty obscure group of
Yeah.
like comic book heroes like that nobody really cared that much about, and it's like suddenly he was able to craft this pretty decent like fun movie out of it.
Well, part of what helped too is the Age of Ultron was a bit like wonkily received. People were like, eh. And then we got this other team up that was kind of, I mean, I say Guardians 1 is better than Age of Ultron. I don't think that's controversial. And, what does that mean? It's like, well, it makes you think, right? You're like, damn, they didn't even get any movies before they teamed up. And they're giving Avengers a run for their money.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated history, but yeah, I'm fond enough of them to give this one a chance. I've been hearing lots of weird things. Have you heard that critics don't like it because it's too like dour? It's too tragic.
Yeah, I've heard that it's not been getting great scores on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's an interesting
Make
one.
of
But
that
then,
what you will.
well, yeah, this is the thing. Like when critics like lambast something, that generally means it's really good. And like, my God, if they're saying it's too dour, it's too serious, like that's exactly what the MCU needs. It needs a movie that actually takes itself seriously. So maybe
That would be nice, yeah.
that's something that's going to be in its favor. I mean, the thing is, like, the trailers never made a secret out of that. Like, it was very
No,
much hinted at, like, characters going to die in this. This is the goodbye for the Guardians. Like, this is a pretty serious movie as far as it goes with talking
finally.
raccoons and stuff. But like, yeah, um, but yeah, like, it's James Gunn's like swan song with Marvel. Like, I would expect it to be kind of sentimental and serious and he's going to tug at the heartstrings if he can. I would definitely expect that. So if he does it successfully, I'm fine with it.
Well, and all the didn't Batista throw a bunch of shade and say like he's done with all this, and then people were like, oh shit, so he's probably gonna die in this one. A lot of the marketing is around like Rocket's life story. It's like, so he's probably gonna die.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't be
yeah, I
too surprised if Chris
guess.
Pratt's gonna die because I could see him being just about done with the MCU. I feel like everyone should start getting out while they can.
I would say so. Yeah, it's time to abandon ship. I mean, don't get locked into any more like multi-picture contracts. Put it
No,
that way, because God knows what they'll have you doing. You don't want to go down that Daredevil road, but um, yeah, like with this. Again, with Rocket, like I'm not that invested in his character. Where I'm like, oh my god, he's had this amazing arc throughout all these movies. Like, got to see how this one gets paid off. Like, I don't know. I could be missing something
I
here,
don't.
but
I don't like. I understand. I just I don't know. It's pretty much the only thing I've got left that remains of the MCU that I actually liked.
now
It's
you've stopped that mower. You're not excited for the Marvels. You
fucking
need to rethink that.
God, that trailer, that just got me so excited. It's dude, if you watch Guardians, it ends up being this like very serious, tragic film that gives a bunch of characters a send off, blah blah blah. Then you fucking watch the Marvels after it, like a bunch of
Yeah. God.
wow. Like the MCU is so disjointed and a fucking mess. Imagine we actually got that like R-rated Blade, and you watch the Marvels and then that, like
Yeah.
same universe. Like okay,
But yeah. But this is what I've always maintained is like you don't have to make movies that appeal to everyone, in every genre and stuff. Like you could, if you're making a Blade movie, okay, let's recognize the fact that this is a pretty mature character. Let's go R-rated. It'll be violent, and yeah, it's going to cut down our profits maybe a little bit because we can't have families coming in to see it. But we'll just make it lower budget to compensate. That's fine. That's a great way of doing it. So you've got different like areas of the MCU. You've got the more mature area, you've got the kiddies one, the very family friendly, generic stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can explore different things. That would allow you to have a lot more creative freedom. But as it stands, everything's got to be fitted into the same generic, you know, it's got to please everyone mold. And that's why it's one of the reasons it's so shit now.
I mean they need to fucking stop with everything being a cartoon.
Yes, that'd be
They need a
nice.
phase of being serious, and I think that's what that's what Jonathan Majors thought he might be getting into. Because
Oh,
he tries to take it very seriously with Kang in Quantum Mania, not playing the clown Kang that he previously
yeah.
said he was very prepared for. But
To be fair, that's a problem that's kind of solving itself as we speak, really. It's like,
potentially, I don't know when we're gonna find out more about that one, but yeah,
well, he's going to be in court in a week or two, I think, and then
yeah. Well,
it'll be like, well. you're getting charged with this, that, and the other, and it's like
Yeah,
then it's going to go to trial. And I think if it does, then that might be when Marvel thinks about cutting ties with them because the blowback, like PR wise, is going to be pretty extreme.
they've
But
had hour-long meetings about this.
oh god, yeah, they are in panic mode at the
You just
moment.
want to be a
I
fly on the wall with
guarantee.
stuff like that, right? See how they talk about all of it. See how
Yeah.
ruthless they are or not. Kevin Feige just smiling the whole time while saying disastrous things.
I just think all of these people now are contended with so much like drama around their stars, like with the DCEU or DCU, whatever the hell they're calling it now. You know, you've got Ezra Miller, who's still a fucking nut job. You've got Amber Heard, who's going to be in Aquaman 2, who's like box office poison. And like they can't remove them, so they're having to like try and put a brave face on these characters. Like I have got no idea what the Flash is going to do. Like this movie could make $2 billion or it could flop completely and utterly. I have got no idea which direction it's going to go.
I feel like there's gotta be an absolute roof of a billion. I really like fucking hell. I feel like I jumped into a different world. I was expecting this thing to at worst flop, but at best do like I don't know 600 mil, something like that.
That would be a flop considering how much it costs.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't expect it to do as anywhere near as well as it needs to.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah. On balance, I'm kind of the same attitude as you. A DC movie that's going to do over $1 billion at this point, it's not going to fucking happen. Not with a character like Flash in it. Like maybe if it was a Superman movie or a Batman movie, but that's not what this is. And yeah, Batman's
There's a
in
lot
it at
of
times, but it's not his film.
There's a lot of maths that gets done. It's kind of interesting, right? Like people be like, "How did No Way Home make its money?" And it's like, well, a lot of people would cite Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's additions, but you know, you can't deny Tom Holland's Spider-Man does actually have pull, like Far From Home and others, compared to like Amazing Spider-Man, which they ended up stopping because it wasn't doing well enough, right? And so it's like compare that over to what do you think Keaton's pull is, and it's like, I mean, we had a full-on Batman movie, so it really is dependent on Keaton because even that only made what was it, 700, 800 million?
Hmm.
And so
Yeah, it
now,
wasn't
and
huge.
that was a Batman movie, not a Flash movie with Batman. And so I guess we'll find out just how much Keaton can do. I mean, I'm interested.
You know the funny thing about this though as well, it's like they're basically marketing this as this is the end of the DCU as we knew it. It's almost like goodbye to the Snyderverse, goodbye to all the things that have come before. This is going to reset everything and start us on a new path. And you know that's almost the pull of it. It's like the ends, and so anything could happen. Everything's like up in the air. And so, okay, there's a certain element of interest that comes with that. But then I think, well, Aquaman 2 still has to come out at the end of the year. Like, what the fuck's the goodness? What's the pull to that one?
I love
It's
how you
like,
say it, Aquaman. You didn't even fucking mentioned Blue Beetle at all.
yeah. I literally forgot about that like 3 seconds after
That's
watching the
right. And then
trailer.
your whole point is people are going to forget about Aquaman, and then you've forgotten about Blue
Yeah.
Beetle.
When is that even meant to come out? Like, I don't know
Um,
anything about it.
That one is one that I rarely remember myself, and I need people like Az to remind me about things that are happening with it.
I mean, that's got to go the way of like Black Adam or
Yeah,
Shazam too. It's just like there and out, there and gone in like a flash and forgotten about instantly.
in a
Because
flash.
yeah, but there's nothing to draw people in. I feel bad for the actor because like he came off Cobra Kai probably flying high, thinking like, yeah, this is my chance to break into Hollywood, and this is what he takes on, and it's like a fucking obscure movie from a studio that's absolutely floundering at the dead end of a, you know, an extended universe that's about to get reset anyway. Like,
Jeez, I
there's
think
bad decisions.
a lot of actors were like, is that Robert Downey Jr. money where he made that amazing deal, and they were like, oh my god. And then a whole bunch of other actors are there. They're joining in. Yeah, it's going great. Even like Hemsworth, for example. And then when you reach phase end of 3 and 4, people like Brie Larson being like, I'm in. Fucking hey, I'm in. I'm in. And then you're like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is gone. Oh, Chris Evans is gone. Oh,
Yeah.
Hemsworth doesn't even want to return and let. Wait, what's going on? Like, is this not profitable anymore? And it's like,
It's like, yeah, it's like showing up to a party at 3 a.m. when everyone
yeah,
else is leaving. You know, I'd be like, hey, I'm ready to go. It's like, well, You picked the wrong time. Same with The Rock. It's like he
Yeah,
held out probably too long.
yeah.
You know, if he'd started getting into superhero movies like 10 years ago, like okay, cool. There's fertile ground there. There's probably he could have had his pick. Not now. Anyway, we should probably do a few more of these super chats. Tommy Gordon says, "I have a dram, fellows drunk Scotlander. I will. I don't have a dram of good Scots whiskey here, but
Mm.
I'll take a drink anyway. Cheers." Ofer Ravid says, "It's live action. It has to look real, even the CGI animated parts. Yeah, it's the Little Mermaid. Yep, and that's why it's shit."
Ugh.
Superfly says, "Have you guys ever watched Drawn Together?" Not me, no. Never seen
Yeah,
it.
that sounds vaguely familiar. Why don't you read out another one while I figure out what that is?
All right. Wrong Think Geek says, "Hey, as I used to live in Harrogate. Nice, quaint town, but man, could it get boring. Haha." Fair play, man. I went to Harrogate a couple of times for the crime writing festival that goes on there. Yeah, like every July, I think it's on, or August. It's one of the two. Yeah, that was, you know, when I was starting out as a writer, your publishing house would send you there, and it's basically an excuse to get absolutely rat arsed and meet other writers. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
good up until a point. Everyone pretends like they're a big shot, but they're not.
Drawn Together is a TV show. I have not seen it.
Okay, there you go. I know people have asked me about this in the past. Are you watching Always Sunny in? Sorry, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I finally got round to started watching it, and I like it. It's really funny.
Eee.
I would definitely file that under comedy that could never possibly get made today.
Well, it's being made today.
Well, the early seasons, like the kind of
Oh,
jokes that they do there, it's like, nah, there's no way they're doing that now.
well, I'd be curious if you think anything is. I don't know. I'd hope they'd maintain their edge. I haven't seen. I've only seen clips. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just like one of them's dating like a transgender woman, and like it's he finds out that
Oh.
she well, it's kind of it's almost like yeah, she's hitting on his mate, and so he goes over because he knows what she is, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here" and stuff. But she compliments him, and he immediately gets taken in by it, and he's like, "Oh, thanks." And then you see them going on a date together. But it's like whenever they're like hugging and stuff, he's always like keeping his crotch like away from her. You know, they're like bent apart at the bottom like that. It's weird as fuck, but yeah. Yeah, again, you would not get away with that now. Um, Baker Boy says, to Azzy's point on authenticity, Despot of Antrim made a great video on this and the other day talking Ant-Man 3 and the MCU's decline in general. Well, there we go. Need to give that a watch, actually. We had Despot on about a month ago, I think. So it was a good guest.
Hmm.
Nelson Chirita says, Mr. Mom is Batman? No way, Michael Keaton. There we go.
Yeah.
Azzy's wonky eyebrow says, any plans for channel memberships, Sir Drunkler? Not at the moment. Mainly because I've got Patreon, I've got Subscribestar, and you know that takes a lot of maintenance already. Just like keeping up with messages and responding to people and stuff. And I guess if I had channel memberships as well, it's another thing that I have to try and run, and it's just too much. I wouldn't have enough time to do it all. So, and I don't want people to get shortchanged, like signing up for memberships, and they don't really get much in response. So, yeah, I just don't want to do that to people. Siberius says, thank you guys. I'm stationed in Korea and have become hospitalized, and listening to you guys is relaxing. Oh, thank you, man. And I hope you get well soon. Cheers. Next one is Nerd Issues, who says, to be honest, Michael Keaton has never been my favorite Batman, but I'll always respect his Batman because without it, we wouldn't have what came after. The success led to the best stories and my own comic collection. Nice.
I
And
quite like him as Batman. I don't know that I'm going to like this film though.
it's not going to be the Keaton that we saw in the first two like of his movies. You know, he's it's going to be a modernized version of him where he's doing all kinds of crazy CGI stunt work that he could never possibly do, and it's just going to be overblown as fuck. I think
Yeah,
you
it's
still
super
have the
CG.
Keaton charisma, but yeah.
Out of curiosity, you know, hopefully you can do it quick. But what would be your top three Batman movies?
Ooh, okay. Uh, The
Excluding
Dark
Batman and
Knight.
Robin, of course, because that would be number one. I know.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably The Dark Knight would be the top one. Either Batman Returns or Batman '89 would be in second, and possibly The Batman. would be in third, and I'm swithering on that one a little bit because I respect the fact that it's kind of a detective story, which is what I would want from Batman, and I know that that third act is just tacked on as fucking. It's so unnecessary, but generally speaking, I like the feel of it.
Hmm.
I like the sort of mature tone and stuff. So those would be my picks, I think. What about you?
Well, fair enough. So number one for me is Returns. I rewatched it about 2 months ago, I think, with Fringy, and I was kind of struck by. I already thought it was good, but then rewatching it, I was like, "Oof, I actually really like this." Like, I was almost half tempted to write a script on it,
Hmm.
as I am with lots of things I watch, because I just want to talk a bit about how there's a lot going on in Returns that I don't feel like people talk about a lot. Like heavy on identity, the whole film between every of the main characters.
I mean, they probably gave us the best Catwoman
She's
ever.
unbeatable. I actually don't know that you can have a Catwoman again that'll be better than hers, as opposed to just as good. You know. Um,
Yeah, it's funny when you mention it there. Actually, thinking about how it balances out, basically three main characters,
mhm.
and like two antagonists, but they're kind of working against each other and with each other at times. And it's quite an interesting screenplay. Actually, it does a lot.
I really like fucking Christopher Walken's Max Shrek.
I think you
What a
mentioned
name!
this as well. Like when Christopher Walken is the most normal person in
Yeah,
your movie.
he's funny as hell in that movie, and it's because he's played the straight man. Every time something insane happens, he's like, "Okay, I can deal
Yeah.
with this." Um,
He's weird as well because he cares about his kids. Like he's got a son that he's like trying to protect, and he's willing to sacrifice himself for him and stuff. It's like, wow, that's not behavior to expect from a villain
he
in a
does,
movie
yeah. He
like
gives
this.
himself up for his son. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So that would be number one, and then two and three, it's going to be a big old mix up of Batman '89, The Batman, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins. I need to see
Oh, you're
all
just
four of
naming
them
all
again.
of them now, aren't you?
Well, I'm excluding the Schumacher ones. that
Why
was
though?
that was difficult. And the rises. Don't worry, I'll always be more controversial than you on rises. I'll just say it's absolute piss.
I made a video on it. How many videos have you made on it, eh, Mauler?
Yeah, but how have you called it piss?
I mean, I said it was deeply flawed and frustrating, so I
Which
mean
is
that's
kind of like
pretty.
piss.
Yeah. I've had many pisses that were flawed and frustrating, so what can I say?
Very fair.
Yeah, no Batman versus Superman on that list, eh?
I
We-
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I didn't even consider it in my head. Like it wasn't even in the running. Like
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, does it even qualify as a Batman
I
movie?
don't know. That's
It's a
actually a
bit of
good
both.
question. Because I remember
I
there's a
heard it once
trivia.
described.
There's a trivia question once that said like who played Batman in the 2016 Batman movie, and I remember thinking to myself like there was no 2016 Batman
Yeah.
movie.
It's weird. I heard it described once as a good Batman movie trapped inside a really shitty Superman movie. And it's like,
Um,
oh, that could be true actually.
what happened to you people? I thought we hated Batman killing people.
Well, I'm not as wed to that as everyone else. Like,
I thought that was my thing. I thought I was the one that was like, you can adapt characters and make them different. La la la.
I'm morally flexible when it comes to killing people, whether in fiction or in real life, really. So it's fine. No, like the thing is, like I don't come from that comic book background, like Az or Gary, and so like I don't have that deep attachment to like the fact that Batman never kills anyone. So like
Right.
when I see it on screen, it's like, well, I can live with that. Keaton's Batman killed plenty of people, and it's like people don't seem to have too much of a problem with him. So yeah,
Well, it depends
okay,
who you ask. I think Gary and Az say like he's not an accurate Batman, the Keaton one, but they like him.
yeah.
Which it's complicated. Like
I
I almost feel bad for Batman fans because I think every single Batman in movies has at least killed one person in every movie.
You know what would be for me a pretty sensible middle ground with this? It's like rather than saying like he never kills anyone no matter the circumstances, or he's like a fucking insane serial killer like you get in Batman versus Superman, go for a middle ground where it's like he does his absolute best to avoid killing people unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, that would
There's
be the
no other
Dark
way
Knight,
around it. Yeah.
um,
So it's like
which I
okay,
think people
we
are okay
understand
with.
that you're doing your best here to
Well,
not kill, but like there might be times when you've got no alternative because that's just the situation you're put in.
The only question I have for people is like in the intro to Dark Knight when he's stopping the Scarecrow's drug deal. Do you remember when he lands on his van and he crushes the roof down on him? And
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, Batman, you know that could very easily have killed him, right? Like, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's fine. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. You're right, Batman.
Mr. Wise Guy says, I still think that Schumacher made the best Gotham City. I mean, I don't know. Tim Burton did a pretty damn good job, man.
It's tough because this was brought up, I think, on EFAP semi recently. People were complimenting a lot of things about the Burton Batman, and one of them was Gotham. I think as compared to the Batman Gotham, and I was the one that was like, I don't think we can't just be sleeping on the Schumacher Gotham. You seriously, like, if you check it out, it's just fucking cool. It's the best part of the movies, like in terms of actual praise for the quality of it.
When I when I think back to the Schumacher Gotham, though, it's always like there's a lot of neon and
I knew you were gonna
everything's
say
like
neon, yeah. It's
brightly
that's
colored and stuff.
those parts in like the dingy sewer level of or whatever. But I'm also talking about like the big roadways with like these enormous illustrious bridges and statues holding them up and stuff. It's like, oh, it's so fucking cool.
Hmm.
I'm less inclined to like the neon. Yeah,
That is the one of the big criticisms I always had of the Nolan trilogy, where it's like there's no real attempt to replicate that
they gave up. The
aesthetic.
first one begins kind of tried, and then they gave
A
up.
tiny bit, but like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It
not
kind
much.
of
Yeah,
tried. It was very there was lots of mist or what do you call it? Like just steam around, and things were
yeah,
brown.
yeah.
That's how you know it's Gotham.
But yeah, I love the idea of Gotham, like from what I've seen of the comic book art and
Yeah.
stuff. Just this like 1940s vision of what the future was going to look like, and it's just yeah, it's so cool.
Well, I love Metropolis as well. I That's something James Gunn needs to sort the fuck out. Get Metropolis and Gotham sorted.
Get them sorted, James.
Enough of
That's his
this
instruction.
bullshit where we don't get to see these things.
Yeah.
Damn you,
The F
James.
Yeah, the FLCL Maniac says, I enjoy the Witcher books despite them being copied from the Elric series. Do you have any plagiarized works that you like, maybe more than the original? Oof, that's a good question. I don't really know of anything that's plagiarized that I've enjoyed, I guess. I'm
Um,
trying to think.
like outright, like the only things that kind of, well, I was thinking about. Do you remember the whole Lion King, Kimber the Wolf thing? Remember that? No.
Is that a recent thing?
Well, recently the narrative changed completely. It used to be that the Lion King ripped off some Kimber the whatever, but then, and I credit directly to YMS, he dug into it hardcore and discovered that there's no fucking way you could argue the Lion King ripped off Kimber and that it is absolutely not the case.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't even. That would be what I would have referenced if you'd asked me that 3 years ago or something.
Apparently, the the Rings of Power is getting sued because it rips off like a fan fiction of Lord of the Rings. Oh
I
God, I hope that's true.
I kind of feel real bad for the person who they ripped off in terms of just like, why did they rip off your story? Like, what? They should have ripped off something good.
But could you imagine that? Like you wrote fanfic, just thinking, oh, this might get seen by a few thousand people, maybe, and then it gets turned into a major TV series, and you get no credit, and it's shit.
I
Like,
don't like.
where would
That's
you
what I
even
mean.
go with that emotionally?
That's almost why I find it hard to believe. I'm like, did you really write it like all that shit? Like some old dude puts a sword sheath into a stone and it unlocks Mordor. Like, how much did they copy?
I mean, I could. That's the sort of thing you would definitely see in fan fiction. So yeah, I could totally
Yeah.
buy into that.
Why?
Why? Quark says, "Cheers, guys. Ever had the chance to read Sven Hassel war books? I think Tarantino would be great to make some politically incorrect movies after them. I'll take your word for that. I've never read them. I'm afraid, mate. Sorry."
Hmm.
Benson Davido says, "I find it suspicious that people are angry about Cleopatra casting, but not Exodus God and Kings. Cleopatra is a Greek pretending to be an Egyptian, so a half-white woman pretending to be should be NBD. I mean, like, Gods and Kings, I don't think even made any impact whatsoever. Was it not just like a bit of a joke? Like, it
That is a
totally
film
flopped."
that we absolutely have to do new Fat movies for because I was actually watching a movie with my dad and we finished it up. We were on Netflix and I was like, before we sort of go to sleep and shit. I was just like, let's just have a look at what's on here. And Gods and Kings was there, and I was like, oh, this movie. And now my dad is super forgiving with movies. He likes like 99.9, especially at this point. He's just like, yeah, I'll watch anything. Do you know? Do you know what when I scrolled over it, he was just like, ugh. And I was like, what? Have you seen it? And he was like, I saw some of it. And I was like, oh shit. And he just put it on, was skipping around to the action scenes, and I was like, this might be one of the most awful films. Like, it's the reason why people went up in arms about it is because it was just seen as a fucking clown. Like the whole movie was. I
Yeah.
remember not believing it when I saw the action scenes. That the CG is hideous,
Yep.
but
Was
it's
it not
filled
big
with
because it
people
had
you recognize.
Jamie Lannister in it, didn't it?
Yep, and Jared Butler, Jeffrey Rush, um, why am I forgetting his name? T'Challa. He was in it as well.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman was in it. Yeah,
Holy shit.
there was shit tons of famous people in it. It was I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know
Just,
why anybody got that made.
just lured them in with a big paycheck.
You know,
uh,
there's only one other movie that he recently hates, by the way, that he did watch. Do you know what it was?
what?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Why'd you make your dad watch these movies?
I was so curious at the end of it. Like, so what do you think? And he was like, I don't know what the hell any of that was.
I mean, is he a bit of an MCU fan? Did he know any of the
he
other films or
he like tunes in and out. He likes, obviously he loved like Iron Man and shit back in the day, but these days it's funny. He'll be like, "Am I supposed to see a bunch of other stuff to make sense of this?" And I'm like, "No, this like there's no amount of MCU movies you can watch to make sense of Quantumania. It's not happening." But at the same time, yeah, it was funny as hell because he was just like nothing made sense at all. Fucking one of the it's might be one of my favorite memories of all time now. We you know when I broke it down for EFAB, we were like, going through every problem meticulously. I'd seen it twice at that point to make sure that's how I do it, to make sure I got everything and I'm fair. And one of the things I said as a compliment to the film was that when Hope jumps into the portal, she grabs her parents to make sure that, when they crash land, she can stop. She can do a little wings thing, so it'll prevent them from slamming into the ground. Good stuff. Like I remember us being like, "Yep, that's fine, that's good." Fucking watching it, my fucking mum was like, "How come they're alive?" And I was like, "Oh, they don't tell you why they're alive in the quantum thing. It doesn't make any sense." She went, "No. Why are they alive from the fall?" And I was like, "Oh, well, because the daughter, she had wings, so when she grabbed them, she could have softened their fall and stuff." And she was like, "Yeah, but they woke up in different places."
Oh my fucking god!
And I was like,
Did they roll?
"Shit!" I was like, "How did you catch that?" And I didn't. What the fuck?
That's what I mean. There's so many layers of stupidity to this movie. It's like it takes a team of people to decipher it all. I mean,
And
what was your dad's reaction when MODOK got revealed as well?
it was
Must
so
have been
funny.
like, what the fuck am I seeing?
My dad was just laughing. My mum said, "Why is Humpty Dumpty in the movie?"
I'm done.
It was great because, like, the final fight with the portals open and Kang and Ant-Man are fine. My mum was like, "Why aren't his whole family trying to help him? Why don't they care about him?" And I was like, I got nothing. I can't help
Yep.
you."
It could just be the funniest movie ever to watch with your parents. It's just like ripping
Apparently,
into it.
Jeff Loveness, the writer, apparently he was like feeling insecure about the movie, but then he heard an audience laughing at it, and he was like, "Yeah, I was successful." I'd love to just see him deal with like just some random audience member being like, "Why didn't his family try to save him? Do they care about him?" And for Jeff just be like, "Oh well, oh
This is what blows my mind about films like this, that you have teams of people working on this, because like, okay, you've got like one or two writers who come up with the script, but then like they have to do read throughs with like the executives and stuff to get the thing greenlit. They have to have the actors read through it all. Does nobody in any of this process say, hey, this doesn't make a lick of fucking sense, like X, Y, and Z is so stupid, like nobody would ever do this?
even
Or
I'm
just like
willing
fucking
to.
hire your parents to just come in and watch it, or like review the script and be like, "How come this is happening?" like,
People say it about games that get released, like, don't these get playtests? It's like, do they not actually have people giving feedback beyond whether they felt good about stuff? Like, do you
yeah,
never have someone watch it as like a professional and just go, you need to have it so that the family have a reason that they can't get through the portal. Otherwise, it looks like they don't give a fuck about Scott, and that's not good. Because
yeah,
I understand, right? I can be picky and snobby, whatever, but like, you can only break stuff like that so many times, and then the average audience member is like, fucking hell, this is dumb.
hmm.
Because plenty of great films have a couple of moments where you're like, wait, if you think about blah blah blah, and then they're like, oh shit, yeah, that doesn't really, but it's fine, don't worry about it. When you have them like hundreds of them every fucking 10 minutes, it's just like, yeah, nobody's getting immersed in this. Everyone's just like baffled by it.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we all know general audiences have got a certain degree of tolerance for like stupid things that happen just to facilitate the plot. Like we know that. And like you say, they're willing to overlook a certain degree of stupid stuff because they're just there to have fun. Like they're at the movie
Yeah,
theater, they've gorged themselves on popcorn and soda and stuff, and they're just enjoying themselves. So they're not going to think too deeply about it. But it's like Marvel and Disney have just miscalculated what that threshold is, and like, oh, we can get away with fucking anything because these like hot dog inhaling morons will just watch whatever we put out, and it's like, no, there has to be a baseline of common sense to what you're writing, and there used to be that, and it's like you've just given up on it because it's like you don't care anymore. Weird, man.
yeah.
Next one is Diano, who says Nicholson got a cut of the film's box office and merchandising profits. Estimates say that he netted up to $90 million from Batman. Also, have you seen the Sisu trailer? So I'll
No.
answer the first one first, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah, apparently he did have a back end deal. I don't know how much money he made from it, but I guess he did pretty well because that movie made bank. And yeah, I've seen the Sisu trailer and it looks really good, and I want to watch it. Well, apparently
Sweet.
it doesn't come out into the UK for like another 3 weeks, so
What is it?
fuck you, release schedules.
Is it an action movie?
Yeah, so it's like set during World War II, and it's a Finnish guy who, I mean, I'm only going by what I see on the trailer, right? But like he's mining for gold in the middle of World War II and discovers like a
Oh, right.
massive hoard of it. And then the Nazis roll in and I guess like try and steal it from him, and so he's just on like a one man revenge quest to kill all of them. And so he basically just becomes like Rambo or whatever, but he's like this old bearded Finnish guy. So
Mm-hmm. All
it
right,
looks
yeah.
pretty good. Gary's been to see it, and he was like, "Dude, you fucking need to watch this movie immediately." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll,
Yeah,
I'll
all
do it
right.
as soon as I can." So, yeah, it looks good. G Unit says, "Have any of you seen the 2018 version of the RC Sheriff's Journey's End with Sam Claflin and Paul Bettany? I think it's far better than most films about World War One, including All Quiet on the Western Front. Definitely worth seeing. It's a pretty decent cast."
Not seen it.
Yeah, so it's Journey's End. Benson DeVito says Gods of Egypt was even worse since it was set before the Syrian Greeks, Romans, or Turks took over Egypt, so they would have been brown and black people.
Um,
Fair enough.
that movie is the kind of movie where this is rare for me, but when people start like talking about it being bad, I'm just like laughing already because it's
Yeah.
such a mess. Like, yeah, you can break it down, go right ahead, but like that is a movie that I can't wait to do anytime movies for because I just want to laugh at it.
Mad About Hatter says, Greetings, gents. What film have you always wanted to see but never have? Cheers.
Hmm.
I can answer this
I
while you're thinking of
I
one.
tend to get around to the ones I want to see usually. I'm trying to think, but you go ahead.
Dog Day Afternoon. Never seen it. Always been meaning to, and just never quite got around to it. And yeah, that's one it's always on the list. I just never seem to find the time to watch it. So it's pissed me off, but there you go.
Here's a strange one. Did you ever see Remains of the Day?
Once, I think,
So,
but it's been a while.
I kind of think that movie is fantastic. I love Anthony Hopkins and shit. Why am I forgetting her name? Is it Emma something? Who's the?
Hold on.
She's not unfamous. I'm just completely blanking on her name. I'm usually good with names.
So it is Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson. Why was my brain doing this to me? It's so rude. But anyway,
So is he like a butler or something in this? From
it's a
memory.
movie that if I was to like explain the premise, which I'm happy to do, people would be like, "Why the hell does that sound good?" It's like a butler and him over the years basically taking care of the house and how things change due to war happening and controversies the guy who owns the mansion get in, and him with a father that was in the same role, and he's done everything. Anthony Hopkins is the kind of man that takes absolute pride in his work, like
Hmm.
nothing can go wrong, to the point where the film is about whether or not that was worthwhile.
Right.
Was his life worth it doing that? And I think it's absolutely brilliant. And there's a film called, I think, Howard's End, and it has him and Emma Thompson in it again in like the same era, and they're wearing similar clothes. And I was like, I should see that. I guess. Like, I'm assuming it's a completely different plot line, but maybe that one's good as well. 'Cause I think it's like well rated.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, Christopher Reeves is in Remains of the Day as well.
Oh God, that would have been one of his last roles
I think it
before
was
he had his
one of the last
accident.
ones. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I vaguely remember it from back in the day. Like I say, it's probably been about 20 years since I've seen it, but I remember Anthony Hopkins just being awesome as he always is.
Yeah,
So,
he steals the show again. Not a surprise, but I really like the character he plays as well.
um, Intelligent Crayon Eater says, if this chat is read to the panel for as, this is going to be tricky, notice that you haven't done CW Gotham Knights recently. Have we finally found a show that's too bad even for as? It might be, actually. Is it
Um,
broken him?
they took a week off, and then I think he said, because I was gonna ask him about it, and I think he said like he couldn't bring himself to watch it, right? So
I'm
I think
not
that was
sure.
on
I
the
don't
open
know
bar.
what his yeah, I'm not sure what his status is with it, but I know Disparu's still reviewing it.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think Jay
with shows
Longboat
like
started up as well.
with shows like that, I'm just like, what do you expect from it? Like,
They are they really are the sewers of stories. Like if you had a city of storytelling, they are. You go down there and you're like, what were you expecting to find? You've got rats covered in poo, and you're like, yeah, well, I just like to check in on the rats sometimes, see how they're doing.
yeah.
I don't know.
If this was Necromunda, then those shows would be the Sump,
Hmm.
and that's one for the Warhammer fans there. Kendon Bronner says, "Hey, Critical, for a new author, is self-publishing or traditional publishing a better option in today's climate?" Oh, good question. Ideally, traditional publishing, for the reason that one, you get like a team of proper editors who can help you with your manuscript and actually get it into a good state, and two, you can you can use their marketing system. Like they've got the ability to get you into bookshops, into potentially supermarkets and things. Like they can do all of that because they've got that relationship with all these suppliers and all these distributors, which you're just not going to get through self-publishing. And the unfortunate reality is that I think the average self-published book sells like 35 copies on average, and a lot of them are just to friends and family. So it's not a business model that works. Yeah, you're going to get the occasional one like fucking 50 Shades of Grey that just like becomes insanely successful, but that is by and large like the exception to the rule. So yeah, if you can go traditional. Barbecue Bandit says, what do you all think of the somewhat popular comedic YouTuber who does the hypothetical Hollywood pitch meetings for movies and shows? He's very funny and touches on things that you tend to discuss. Why do we keep getting asked about pitch meeting?
It
It's
is kind
weird.
of
It's like
strange. He's like the one channel that gets asked about all the time.
it's not like it's some obscure channel that no one's fucking heard of either. It's like it's a really successful channel. Like yeah, it's like it's like being asked like, oh, have you heard of Red Letter Media? These up and coming YouTubers. It's like yes, we have. But yeah, pitch meeting's really good.
Yeah.
Next one, Asher Dales says, I liked season 2 of The Witcher. To be fair, I was also half a bottle of Jameson deep by episode 2. Yeah, it's probably the only way to digest it, really. Optimal Drinker says, is there anything still worth watching on TV? I've run out of anything worthwhile watching.
So, do you know what I've been watching recently? I hesitate to say it because I don't want people like getting too obsessive as to, because people get disappointed if I don't finish it or something. But I've started up Succession after
Oh, yeah.
about 10 billion recommendations. It's pretty good. I haven't even seen
Nice.
much of it yet, and I've been very impressed. It's basically kind of Game of Thrones, but in our era. You
Okay.
got a family with a patriarch. His something happens to him, and there's a huge power struggle, and it reflects like stocks, loans, companies, and all things all over the place. And there's lots of trust backstabbing and good old juicy dramas. I fully recommend so far.
Nice.
So that's new
If,
TV. There you go. That's actually
yeah.
airing now. Like they've still got 4 episodes left. I think that'll be out within the month.
I kind of want to watch Rabbit Hole with Kiefer Sutherland. I think I told you about this because it's got Charles Dance in it as well, and it's,
Hmm.
pretty good cast. But yeah, I haven't got around to it yet. But I've been watching Tulsa King, which I like. It's got Sylvester Stallone. Probably like does some of the best acting he's done in years. Like really goes for it.
He's going to
Um,
be in Guardians 3. And you're gonna that'll be where his best acting is, of course.
of course, naturally, yeah. I mean, he had a little role in two, so okay, it'd be nice to see him back. But yeah, there's that. What was the other ones? Obviously, I've started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's an older one, but that's got like
Hmm.
15 seasons for you, so there's plenty to keep you amused if that's your thing. And yeah, Yellowstone's pretty good as well. So I guess those would be my recommendations. Next one is Steve Z says Morrissey, diversity is conformity. Well, there you go. Unique One says CDPR says, oh, sorry, they did a great job with the Witcher games. Yes, they did. Yeah, can't really fault them on that one. Trevor B says, "Is that a Berserk shirt drinker? Oh my god, or am I blind?" No, that wasn't a Berserk shirt at the time. That was a Godzilla T-shirt, I believe,
Yeah,
that I
same
had
thing.
on that night. Yeah, whatever. Chris Reeves says, "Has anyone noticed the common denominator linking all of the recent cinematic atrocities? Women, a sexist would say." I mean,
Women.
I don't think so. There's plenty of other reasons why films can be shit. I'm not gonna blame women exclusively.
It's the women. There was a
Yeah,
woman
they
in
ruin
most new
everything.
movies. Like you do find they pop up every once in a while. Those women. You're like, you know what? Give me an all man movie that's bad. You can't name it.
But yeah, I mean, they make up 50% of the population, so they tend to crop up at times.
It's ridiculous.
I know. Karl Mikovic says, "Hello, Mr. Drinker. What is a typical day, week in the life of you?" With a day in the
Uh,
life of the critical drinker. With live streams, YouTube, writing, making a film, etc. Interested in how you operate and keep track of everything. Greetings from Estonia. The secret is I generally forget a whole bunch of stuff and I end up missing meetings and stuff like that, so it doesn't work
there
out
you
great.
go.
I mean, I don't know if there's a typical week for me. Like there's always like variations and stuff. It's not like I have a set routine or anything, but yeah, it's usually like if I'm making videos and stuff for YouTube, it's like a day on, day off. So like I'll take a day, write a script or something, then I'll maybe the following day I'll do like either you like emails or admin stuff or things that I need to do in real life, like around the house or whatever, or take like meetings about the movie, and then the following day that's when I go back to making editing or whatever other aspect of YouTube video production is needed. And then yeah, every Thursday I've got the open bar. We have to get guests booked for that. We have to get topics sorted out, and yeah, all of those things just have to be done in the lead up to all of the like to each thing happening. So it's kind of hectic, I suppose, and there's times when it doesn't work as efficiently as it should because, sometimes things get in the way. Sometimes it takes you longer to write a script than you would like, or it takes longer to edit a video, or you're struggling to get the right people for the right live stream or whatever. And then in between all of those things, people might ask me to make guest appearances on other live streams and things like that. So I've got to try and work that in. So
He's
it
right
keeps me
about all
busy.
of these pains.
What's that, sorry?
He's right about all of these pains.
Yeah, Mahler, I imagine Mahler's in exactly the same position. You do more live stream appearances than I do as well, so you're probably even busier than I am.
Yep, and by the time this comes out, I will have been on a live stream where one of the questions I think that's going to be asked of me is when's the next Unbridled Rage video, and I'm like, I can't tell any of you because you'll be sad if I take longer than what I said.
Yeah,
All I can ever say is I'm working on stuff. I think
yeah.
though there will be a happy surprise. The thing about anybody who's delivering like a long-term happy surprise, you'd think like, oh, it's like a month, and for me, it's like boost the unit, more like a year. But yes,
Muller's got like a 5-year plan for like his video production. Like,
I have told Drinker a lot about my plans, and that's the thing. I can't tell any of you guys because then I'll get loads of posts about how remember how Muller promised that this thing was gonna happen. He's a liar, dude. He's a filthy liar.
well, the problem you have as well is like not only do you have to get this massive project done and edited and then produced and then uploaded, but then you've probably got a bunch of copyright claims that you have to deal
Oh
with.
my god.
And then
The
that can delay it for days or weeks or a month potentially,
it
depending on how
was
long it takes to resolve all this stuff.
It was absolutely nuts. The first version of the Doctor Strange 2 video was completed like a month and a half or some ridiculous shit before it actually came out. And re-render. One of the biggest problems I had was there's a particular part. You remember when they're doing all the stupid shit in the spooky verse where they find the book? I was
Hmm.
trying to make the point that they end up staring randomly for extended periods of time. That whole section, the whole point is to show that, but I can't show that for longer than 6 seconds. Otherwise, I'll get hit with copyright. It's like the most fucking annoying thing as a reviewer ever. So you have to find like edits around it, or maybe just you just have to hope the audience trusts you. I rather show them the evidence, you know. So
Yeah.
that one was giving me loads of trouble. It was obviously just throughout the thing, and there was other people's work that was coming in where this is a very specific and strange problem, but I edit all the audio and the audio breaks between anything, so like clips and stuff, and then sometimes I'll send pieces off to editors, and then they can come back with stuff that they don't know will continue a scene from an audio piece. This sounds absolutely annoying. I would have to take longer to explain this, but basically, they can sometimes accidentally cause copyright claims where they think they're clean and I think they're clean, and so it's a nightmare. But basically, what happened with that one was I was getting claims right. I got to try I think once per day, like it would be a full render, full upload, and then checks, and then it would tell me so one per day, one per day, one per day, clean, cleaning them out, and then literally the night that I was going like was my absolute deadline that I wanted it out. It uploaded and it said it's clean. Checking it's still clean. I had I think it was Friggy Rags and Jay, and I asked all of them, it's like, should I release this or should I sit on it for another week? And all three of them said sit on it.
Yeah.
I released it. And it didn't get hit, and it hasn't since. And that was such a fucking gamble, but I just wanted it out. I was so annoyed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, this is
Bloody
the thing. Like
6 hour
for
video.
me, yeah, like if one of my videos gets copyright claimed, it's like okay, it's a couple of days' work, potentially lost or whatever, or compromised at least. But like for you, it's like half a year, if not more.
Yeah.
That's a lot bigger gamble. So I can see why you'd want to play it safe.
I don't even think people ever consider the copyright side of things. It can swallow so much time. It's absurd. I have
Yeah,
some people making EFAP movies, and if they're new, I'm like, you don't understand what you're in for. This is gonna be a nightmare. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm just like, just you'll know what I mean when you get there. That's all I have to say. Like,
it's just certain studios are worse than others. Some are
yeah.
relatively chill. Like Marvel, weirdly, are fine for the most part, unless you totally abuse it. Like anything Disney related, they're generally okay.
I mean, I've already told people that there's a video of us watching Kingdom of Heaven. That one has been re-rendered over 100 times.
Oh Christ!
It's still going to
For
this
such a
day.
shit movie as well. It's
Wow,
like,
Drake,
it's so
you
not
don't have
worth
to
it.
say that. That movie's liked
I mean, it's so boring. Anyway, that's a different conversation.
for another time.
I think I might have legit passed out while we were watching that for a while.
Yeah, did you die? I think you did,
I
right?
think I
Somebody
did,
died.
yeah. I got resurrected by the power of my rage. Okay, next one is Neil Q says the other day on BBC stream it was discussed what Marvel character would be topless. I vote for Captain Marvel, so at least she has some nice quality. I mean, I don't know if there's much to see there,
Uh,
if I'm honest. So
Wait, so they're asking if you could pick one girl from the MCU to go topless in one of those movies, which they would never do, by the way. But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess it would
Peggy
be.
Carter
I was about
for
to say,
me.
I think that's the default option.
Yeah, it's like One of the only ones that's got an actual cleavage. Yeah, I mean, I suppose like Scarlet Witch maybe as well. Like Elizabeth
Oh,
Olsen's
yeah,
pretty
that's a fair
shapely.
choice.
But yeah, there's not much to pick from anymore. Um, Reaper says R.I.P. Jerry Springer. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I heard
he's
he died.
gone. Yeah. I wasn't fully sure that he was still alive. So yeah, good news to me. Furry Kitten says, I may be late, but not Gary enough for a man bun. Get yourselves a tea cake or a wafer to boost up your nutrition. Okay. So I'll get a Tunnix tea cake on the go right now.
Mm.
AT says, good dog. Yes, the critical doggo was back. And yeah, he put on a good show, I think. I think people find him more interesting than us. I don't blame them. Lady Wendelin says Doggo Cam is active and always right in the world. Nice, thanks. Um,
True.
he was always trying to steal the show. He's a total prima donna now.
Hmm.
Ben Flebby says Ryan Johnson is actually capable of making a good movie. Brick is amazing. If you're interested in neo noir, yeah, I mean
That's
I've heard good things about Brick.
that's a film I need to see because my current perception of Ryan Johnson is just exclusively in the toilet. Like, I think that Loop is bad. I think both Knives Out are bad. I think TLJ is bad. It's like, well, check out Brick. It's like, all right, I should check out Brick.
Yeah. Dredge says, odd question, but have you guys seen the new Transformers Rise of the Beast trailer that came out today? What are your thoughts? I've sort of checked out of the Transformers movies about 3 films ago. It was just too much.
Yeah, I'm just not a Transformers person at all. They're kind of cool. That's about as far as it goes for me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you if someone said like, "Wait, so is this one is by who and in what continuity?" And I'd be like, "I have no idea."
Yeah, is it more Michael Bay stuff or is someone else
I
taking over or
assume
what? I don't know.
I assume he's done completely with it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Marksman of 117B says Unicorn War is a genocidal war between bears and unicorns. My money's on the unicorns, to be fair.
Hmm.
Daniel Spaceship says, will any of our panel ship today be reviewing Beau is Afraid? The trailers looked interesting and the A24 has some hits, but I've also heard that it's really bad. Yeah, I mean, A24 is really hit and miss, but I don't know, man. I
Um,
don't think I'm going to go watch it.
I saw Capital Opinions tweet about it, and he's very nuts and bolts when it comes to telling you exactly what you're going to get. And he said basically it's like super duper art film, and there's plenty to draw out of it in terms of interpretation, but it's not going to be pleasing many audiences.
Interesting. Ithala says, Drinker, have you seen Gordon, a Batman fan film? I think I have. It's on YouTube, and it was done for, like, pretty modest budget, but it looks pretty good from what I remember. Everest says the unicorn is actually considered a rival as a king of the beasts against the lion, and both are considered natural enemies, which is ironic when you're considering that Scotland and England's history. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, national animal of Scotland that doesn't even fucking exist. But yeah, hates lions.
Hmm.
There we go. And you've got dragons on your side,
Yeah,
so
ours is kind of pretty cool, I will
I
say.
think so. Yeah, I think if it came to a fight between the three, dragons would probably win. To be fair,
I remember
once you
we were doing a big like flag competition. I kept saying Wales is best, Wales is best, just wins. It always does, the best flag ever. But there was one flag, I forget where it is, but it's like a bear holding an atom or something. Someone's got a flag with that. I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the Isle of Man flag takes some beating where it's just legs kicking each other.
I I didn't know someone would deliberately make that their flag. I just didn't know.
I just love on the background, which you can't see right now, but on your lapel, that's like you've got the flag there.
Of course, I was caught off guard with that one.
Sometimes you just see something and you're just like, that's insane genius. I love it.
3 legs.
Yeah.
It's. I think the people who live there would probably be like, "Why do you find that funny?" I'd be like, "Why wouldn't I? It's 3 legs." Like,
It's just it opens up this universe of questions like what the fuck were you thinking? Like what does it represent? Like why?
great story behind it. Incredible lore. A lot of pride for their area of the world.
I hope so. Anima Chain says, do you know that the Woke Critic YouTube channel, or sorry, do I know of it? A Brit and he's a master of taking the piss. Pure gold. Some replies think he is being genuine. It's brilliant. Yeah, I do know of him, and he does really good stuff actually. Yeah, just absolutely praising like all these shitty TV shows and movies and stuff. But yeah, it's I get the same thing if I occasionally do a sarcastic video, like you know, praising something. Yeah, there's some people that think I'm being serious. It's like it's great. God bless the internet. Um,
Absolutely.
Timmy04 says, "Drinker, what are your favorite fast food joints?" Damn. Okay. Here in the UK, what the hell have we got? It's slim pickings. I mean, Five
Whatever the
Guys
local
is usually...
kebab shop is.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. I guess it has to be a chain or something that people would know of. Five Guys is okay for burgers, even though they're like insanely overpriced for what you actually get, but like they're halfway decent.
Hmm.
And Papa John's pizzas are not too bad. So I guess those would be my choices.
Father Jonathan. I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know how. I've never thought like which one is my favorite. I sometimes it's every time I ever get like order from them or go to the places, it feels like a gamble, no matter which one it is. I'm like, I hope I enjoy this, but who knows? I'm trying to think of which one I consider reliable. Uh,
I mean, are you like a pizza guy, or is it like burgers or?
um, yeah, I'd say I'm a pizza guy, but the thing is, I don't like if you said which is better, Pizza Hut, Domino's, or Papa John's. I'd be like, I don't. See, gun to my head, I'd probably go with yeah, maybe Papa John's. I guess.
I mean, generally, I'm like, yeah, it's not with pizza. It's like pretty simple.
How do you
Excuse
you
me.
can't fuck up pizza?
It's
Well, you
it's
shouldn't
yeah,
be
it's
able
like
to.
baked bread with some tomato and some melted cheese on top. There's not too many ways you can fuck that up, but yeah, some takeaways still manage to find a way.
Yeah, they
But
find a way.
I've never understood the Pizza Hut thing. Like I always find their pizzas like kind of shitty and like the bases are not that good. Yeah,
Hmm.
I never understood the big deal. At least with something like you know Domino's or Papa John's, it's like okay, there's something there. It's halfway decent, but it's
Well,
generally like
it also depends on your area because, like, I think everyone gets different ones no matter where you are because it depends on who's cooking it and what ingredients, blah blah blah. But like, I remember Rag saying I think he said his local KFC was like awful, and me and
hmm.
Frank were like, oh, I mean, our KFC's fine. like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, generally it's been like the one in my area is like pretty reliable. It's like I don't go to KFC like that much. Like it's weird. Like see when I've got a choice of like things to eat from takeaways or fast food or whatever, I never really go for chicken. Like I never want to go to Nando's or anything like that. And just,
hmm.
I don't know. Like I never find chicken that interesting to eat. It's just like really kind of bland a lot of the time. Um, that being said, Chick-fil-A in America I find quite good.
Hmm.
I'll give them their due. They are pretty decent.
Yeah, America, the fast food capital in a way.
They do it well. I must admit, man. See, when I went to New York, like, what can I put it like? See, if we had like a sandwich here, it'd be like two slices of ham in like it'd be like a couple of pieces of bread, and it's like this size.
Uh
But yeah,
huh.
like you go to a deli restaurant in New York, and it's like this sort of thickness, and it's just like all meat of all different kinds all the way
They
through.
give it to you, and you're like, "Can you give me instructions on how to eat this?"
Yeah, you kind of have to be like a snake, like dislocates its own jaw to like get this thing in your mouth. But it's really nice. It's just, yeah, it's like enough to feed like three people. It's like there's a lot of wastage there. There must be. Next one is Nate, who says, "Have you guys seen the DC animated version of Flashpoint Paradox from 2013? All of DC's best movies are drawn." I mean, I've heard that. Yeah, like their animated stuff is really good.
I
But
never want to say it with confidence because I'm like, oh shit, I might be misnaming it or whatever. But I definitely saw a Flashpoint paradox, and it might have been that one. The Anybody who's like listening will know probably if you care a lot about which one's of which by me saying that something I'll never forget from it is, I think it was either evil Superman or someone, but they knock Shazam out of the hero form and into the kids form, and then just kill all the kids.
oh
I
Jesus,
remember being like,
brutal.
holy fuck, that was great. So,
You
but yeah, I remember I enjoyed it. So but the things I haven't seen it since I think 2013. So
you need to watch Invincible.
oh, what are you
Genuinely,
gonna do? You gonna beat me up?
I'm gonna make you do it more. I'm coming to
No.
Wales. I'm gonna force you to watch it.
What's more important to watch, that or All of Us Are Dead?
Invincible, I would say.
Mm.
I think you would be able to draw more out of it as well. I think you'd quite enjoy it,
Mm.
particularly like as a breakdown of the superhero genre. Like if you've, you know,
Oh, great. More
you've obviously
deconstruction, huh?
well, yeah, but like it's done in quite a good way because it's like a
Hmm.
father-son relationship at the core of it, and like suggesting that there's something there's still something genuinely inspiring about being a hero, but what does it mean now, and like which heroes do we choose to look up to and why? So there's quite a lot going on there, and I guess it'd be interesting to see what your take is on it. I mean, you
Yeah.
might absolutely hate it. I don't know.
Well, so one of the things I was going to decide was they got season 2 coming out soon-ish, right? Eventually this
I
year.
think yeah, there's definitely going to be a season two. Hopefully, they don't
So
rush
if
it.
that one impresses everybody as well, then maybe I'll watch it.
Okay, fair play, fair play. Vor Axelon says, and I think you meant to say 12 Angry Men instead of 13 Angry Men, but maybe that's the sequel.
Or
It
maybe the
made me think of.
13th is the viewer.
That's it. I was
Oh my
angry.
god.
Either way, 12 Angry Men made me think of Failsafe. Have you guys seen it? The 2000 version was really amazing. Richard Dreyfuss is epic in it. I have seen Failsafe, so it's about. Well, it's a bit like 12 Angry Men, but with like nuclear war hanging in the balance rather than a court case.
Hmm.
And it's like, what's the decision making behind the Russians have hit one of our cities? Was it a targeted attack or was it some rogue general just went nuts or whatever? And like, how do we respond to it? And yeah, it's pretty interesting that whole nuclear brinksmanship, scenario that was very prevalent back in the Cold War, and it's got a pretty bleak ending as I recall.
Oh.
Ref
Yeah.
says, yeah, with the current quality of superhero shows and films today, do you think the adaptations of more image comic stuff are in the future? I think they're overdue another Savage Dragon and the Max adaptation. I mean, I don't know what any of those things are, but I mean, sure, yeah.
I'm gonna be
Like,
honest, I think if anything, we will have begun the era of winding down comic adaptations.
thank
Um,
fuck.
but they're not going to go away or anything. It's just that I don't think they're going to be spamming them as much. Which
Yep,
is, in a way, a good thing.
yep. The next one is a three-parter. Okay, so I'll do all of the reading out and then I'll try to respond to it. And I think it's for me. So this is from Debreeze. Drinker and panel. I've been listening to the Drake books. In regards to the Mary Sue girl boss tropes, I keep getting the idea that Mara slash Anya is a bit OP. I wonder if I'm too hyper aware of the trope. I see that she is not a Mary Sue. She has flaws, adversity, and her arc isn't over yet. But every time I see a female character that has a heroic or powerful role, that crosses my mind. I'm figuring the overrepresentation of that trope has made me too sensitive, even in realistic scenarios, and I need to keep that in context. What are your thoughts? Also, any plans for some book streams? I would like to hear more insight into the book stories. Thank you all. Okay, so yeah, kind of a lot to like pick apart with that one, but I guess the general gist is that I wrote these books, particularly the early ones, long before like we were in the current era of Hollywood storytelling, if you know what I mean. So I never had those tropes in mind when I wrote it, and I think you kind of answered the question there in that she has an arc and like it's part of a larger arc for Drake, the main character, in that when he starts out in the first novel in the series, he's still developing, as a character. He doesn't have all the answers and he doesn't have all the experience and stuff that someone like Anya does. She's like a character who's kind of maxed out with who she can be and what she can do, whereas he's lower down, but he's still progressing up the way because that's what you want to do with character development with your protagonist. You want to give them a chance to go on the journey. And so by the time you get to the final book in the series, they've kind of drawn level with each other, and he's probably surpassed her, arguably, by the end. And that was always my intention. Like the whole series is almost like a not an origin story for him, but it turns him into the kind of character that would be fully fledged by the end and ready to go off on his own adventures. And that's what I always wanted to do with it. And yeah, I wanted to give Anya enough flaws and weaknesses that she's not invincible, and particularly psychologically, she's got a lot going on that she has to deal with in the course of the series. But it was all the intent of like showing someone at the end of that road who hasn't reached a good ending either, because they've been through a lot of shitty things in their life. So that was my intention there. And I guess the sorry, don't know if you were going to say something there, Molly.
Well, to I suppose have a go at the other, like in a way, half of that. Language is super useful, and there's a reason why we've ended up in this position. If you roll your minds back to good old 80s, 90s, 2000s, there were tropes that started to come up that to this day annoy me. Now, I was looking at someone review The Whale the other day, and one of the things that they had said immediately was that, it's a bad movie, and one of the main reasons is fat phobia, but also bury a gaze. And I hate seeing that trope turn up, especially in stories that I think are incredibly well crafted. And it like triggered a fucking full on memory of me finding out when I went on the internet and started looking at people discussing Buffy that one of the big problems Buffy has is that it has one of the worst examples of bury a gaze. And I was like, what is that? What does that even mean? And
Mm.
it's just that it comes from a time where there may have been a lot of pushback to having gay characters at all in your TV shows or movies, and that the producers slash studio would push for you to kill them, get them out of the show if you can. Like, yeah, you can have them, but we don't want them, hanging around too long or whatever else. It could be any reason. And so once you notice it enough, you'd be like, oh. And so this may have been well founded, but at one point you'd see it and be like, the gay character died. Yeah, okay, that's not a surprise at all. You remember like the trope of the black guy dies first in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like there's foundations for a lot of these, but the problem is you start shooting down stories that are not doing it for the reason you assume they are, or you start seeing it in places that it doesn't fucking exist. And it's just throughout time we have all of these. And Mary Sue, if you're finding it difficult now to figure out and properly like categorize how different female characters are getting, let's just say, their power or their agency in the particular story, try and take yourself away from ever even deciding whether or not she's a Mary Sue, and instead just gun for the components, right? How powerful is she, and where does she get it from? How much in the plot line does she actually struggle with instead of just breezing through it with all of her baseline attributes? How much did everyone like and love her, even? And for me, as you may know, all of these things will come down to continuity every time. It's like, should the characters feel the way that they do about her? Does it make sense? Does she have the kind of power she has for a reason? Is it super convenient, or is it inconvenient, or is it nothing that she has the powers, blah, blah, blah. Mary Sue was a way for us to translate quickly to other people what the problems are. Unfortunately, it's become so used that now it like refers to a lot of attributes that you might not even necessarily be referring to yourself. And at the same time, you might be seeing it because you think if you hit one of the, let's say, 5 boxes of Mary Sue, you are a Mary Sue. And once it gets so tangled up, it's just a phrase that almost defeats its own point. It was supposed to tell us something quick and easy and straightforward, but now it's actually getting a little bit confusing as to whether or not it is the thing that you think it is or if it's not. So focus on the characteristics, because the last thing you want to do is have a phrase that's meant to translate something quickly that's actually complicating everything and making it harder for you to actually explain a thing. It's like the total opposite at that point.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've run into the same exact problem with woke, when what people call something woke. No, there used to be a fairly like well agreed upon definition of it, and now it gets overused to the point where like it's applied to anything and it's lost all meaning. And again, it was a way of describing certain problems that were cropping up in storytelling over the past 5 or 6 years. But yeah, like now when it gets abused like this, it's like, well, you've completely undermined the utility of it. Now it just means nothing, and so like most people avoid even using it. Sorry, even mentioning the word because it doesn't achieve anything now.
Yeah,
And
and
it's the same thing with this.
you like need to dig into it. Just to bring it back to that example I was given. If someone said like the whale is bad because bury a gays, and I'm like, explain, and they're like, well, they killed a gay character in it. I'm like, why is that bad? It's like, well, that's feeding into a stereotype that that gay people die, or that you kill gay people. So, and you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's just focus on what actually happens in the story at that point. If you haven't even, because some people won't even have a good foundation of a definition. If you're struggling with it, just don't use it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can see why it's a tricky one. To go back to the example that this person gave as well, it's like, well, strong female characters in stories, because we've been force fed a diet of like really badly written characters over the past several years. When you see one that does crop up now, it produces for a lot of people that visceral sort of emotional reaction of like, oh, here we fucking go, another strong female character that's here to like show the boys how it's done. And then you end up not even giving them a chance, and it's a tough thing to overcome. But it's like, yeah, exactly like Mauler says. Look at how they're actually constructed. Look at how they're woven into the story. Look at how they achieve the things that they do, and then make your judgment. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
Ray crystallized it. She might be the poster child for Mary Sue at this point. It is possibly the greatest description, and if you just watch her trilogy, that's a great little sort of character profile for what I assume a Mary Sue is mostly understood to be. But since then, there's been a bit of like a trigger happy way of stamping Mary Sue on people that maybe shouldn't be considered the same because Ray is uniquely terrible, like in terms of writing.
yeah. The next one's this is when I made the mistake of saying that I'd pat the doggo every time someone sent a super chat for it. So I'll read through all of them. Put a plant on the critical doggo. Give a pat to the critical doggo, please. Also, thanks for the streams. Pat for the doggo, thank you, please, and also pet the doggo. So
Nailed it.
yeah, I did what I could on the night, but it did occur to me like that I could be unleashing a nightmare scenario with this. Mr. Wise, the poor dog is also going to be like, fucking hell, I'm just trying to sleep here. Will you leave me alone? Stop petting me. Mr. Wise Guy says, if they did an accurate retelling of Flashpoint, we could have gotten to see Amber Heard with get her head removed. We were robbed. I know, well, we just have to imagine that, I suppose. Fake YouTube says, any opinions, or sorry, have your opinions on Dune changed any? Mine haven't, no. Like, in terms of, like, my assessment of the movie from a year or two ago to what it is now, it's like, yeah, it's pretty much the same.
I will happily rewatch the first one before seeing the second one.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking to see what that looks like as a full story. It'd be cool.
What's this one? Ceteris Pyrobuses says, Drinker's right. For younger fans, Schumacher and Nolan are the old Batman now. Keaton is barely remembered like the old TV show. Yeah. Times have changed. Alexander McCarthy says, not only was Cleopatra Greek based on a 2017 DNA study of mummies, ancient Egyptians were Arabs with half as much sub-Saharan DNA as modern Egyptians. They were definitely not black. I know, but those are pesky facts that get in the way of ideology, so we don't like that. Ken L says, how bad will it be? Will it have to get before people start calling out showrunners for padding their runtime to boost their minutes watched metric? Well, The Mandalorian is about 90% padding, really.
That
10%
one,
actual story.
that was ridiculous. Season 3. What an. Can't you make just random shit happen? Is it that hard?
I mean, I made a whole video about episode 2 where it's just like you're literally repeating the same steps previously that you did, that you're doing again. It's like watching player 2 have another run at the same level that their mate got killed on.
It was also like clockwork. When I saw episode 7, I was like, oh, yeah, people are going to say this is way better. And I remember it's in the video. People on the cast are like, well, why? And then it's like, well, things are happening. That's enough to make people happy. I don't know what the hell took them so long to just make things happen.
Yep. Daniel Johnson says, Hail 199. Hey, I see the OG Batman 1/6 Deluxe Edition is on Hot Toys. Are you going to get that? I can pretty much guarantee he's going to get
Yeah,
that.
it's probably yes.
Mass Jackal says Jennifer Lawrence should be the next Bond, Batman, Flash, Spider-Man, as she clearly paved the way for modern heroes and heroines. I mean, she paved the way for movies. That's funny, that meme is never going to fucking die now.
No, make her the next Godzilla.
Yeah.
I think you can pull it off.
Best name I can think of says, if Guardians tanks, do you think guns budgets will shrink or will the release lineup change? Good question, actually.
It's so interesting because if, let's say, crazy thought, if it's a great film and it makes $1.5 billion, all that really does is advertise his DC world because it's like that's where that creator is next. If you want to see his stuff, it's not really going to help the MCU. Let's go to the other side of it, though. Let's say it makes 300 million or something ridiculously low, like lower than Ant-Man. I don't know what that would mean for him. I don't know if the DC people would be like, what the fuck?
I mean, he can blame that then on Marvel. It's like, well, the
Yeah.
MCU is a brand in decline, so it's not really my fault,
And the Suicide Squad wasn't his fault either because digital release and COVID. Wink, wink. Like,
Yeah.
it's all fun. His It truly will be like his Superman movie will decide everything. I think the
Yeah,
amount
there's
of
nothing to hide
stuff.
behind then.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not gotten himself off to a great start. Like just the way he's approached it and stuff. Like we've talked about that quite a bit. Christian Wolf says Benedouche Cumberpickle as Mister Freeze. You could do that, sure.
fine.
You could do the science guy. Masked Jackal says, Drinker, you should make a Batman Forever production hell video, a movie that had all the potential to be great and failed with bad decisions. I mean, I could, yeah.
Yeah,
Which one is Batman Forever? It's not Batman and Robin, is it? It's not the George
the
Clooney one.
Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones one.
See, I didn't. Was there a lot of problems behind the scenes on that one?
I know that it got cut to shit. Like, there's a bunch of extra footage that I've even seen and thought, man, this probably should have been in the film. Like, because there's some good stuff that got cut out of it. I
See,
think in favor of making it more goofy.
right, okay. Because to my knowledge, like Batman and Robin had a much tougher production. Like they had all kinds of shit going wrong with that movie.
That one's that's just an unbelievable series of events. Like, Forever did so well that they were like, all right, man, you have access to any A-lister you want. You have all the money. You got the Batman IP. Go nuts. And they made Batman and Robin. They made that. Wow.
I think even Schumacher came out though and said like that movie's a fucking disaster. I'm really sorry that I made that.
It
I mean,
absolutely is a wonderful disaster, and we're in the luckiest timeline to have been able to watch it.
yeah. Cameron Davis says Clooney was pretty good in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I mean, he
Hmm.
has been in good movies. It's just that wasn't one of them. Nick Hayden says regarding James Gunn, what did you think of Peacemaker? I liked it. Thought it was
I
pretty
didn't.
fun.
I didn't go further than I think an episode and a half. I got put off.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, generally, I thought it was pretty good fun. Got a little bit preachy towards the end, but overall, it was a decent enough show. I think John Cena was pretty good in it. Calix says, Cheers, mateys. Sipping on some Sierra Nevada hazy iPad. Temperature outside is 79 degrees Fahrenheit here in Southern California. Lol, you son of a bitch. It's not like that in Scotland, that's for sure. Glad you enjoyed though, mate. Sandeepan says, Hi Drinker, views on the Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Love from India, dude. Love your channel. Thank you, my friend. And yeah, Rise of the Beasts. I've really got nothing I can say about it. Like, it's just another Transformers movie. You
Yeah,
know,
I've seen people
like,
fighting over. They have clarity in their action scenes, and people fighting back, being like, "Hey, Michael Bay had clarity in his action scenes eventually." I got nothing to say on either of it. I'm just like, alrighty.
Terribly Terrific Turtle says, Anyone else remember Fallout New Vegas? Yes, I
Yeah.
do. I thought it was quite good. Steve Clinch says, Do you think Henry left The Witcher from what he saw in season 3 or just the direction that it was going so he got out preemptively? Appreciate your work, guys. I think it was just the general direction of the show. It seemed to be
Yeah,
frustrations all
they've
around, didn't it?
there would have been several conversations where he was getting frustrated with them for how they were treating the source. Like, we already know that they're complaining that he was complaining, so it wouldn't be a great vibe on set, I'd imagine. At least not all the time. And what are you to do when I imagine most of his ideas were shot down?
Yeah, I would think so.
So it's just like, yeah, this isn't what I thought it was, so I ain't renewing the contract.
Good on him for getting out. Kenneth the Acadian says, "Hey Drinker, do you have a favorite Formula One team or driver? Um, any team that Gunter Steiner is the boss of. It's like I'm happy. I think he's with Haas now. But yeah, he's just fucking great. He's got some of the best quotes ever. But yeah, like I'm not really an expert on F1. I kind of got into Drive to Survive. I think that's a great insight into some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and like the fucking ridiculous rivalries even within their own teams. Like I'm sure there was instances where like both Red Bull drivers took each other out on in the middle of a fucking race. It was ridiculous.
Damn.
But yeah, I am looking forward. Later in the year, I'm going to be going out to Abu Dhabi to see an F1 Grand Prix. So that should be nice. That's for one of my friends' birthdays. Thorlax Atax says, "Play Chrono Trigger now, you goon." Well, I mean, what can I do? I'm gonna have to leave now, Mauler. Sorry,
All
got to do
right, see you
Chrono
later.
Trigger. Yeah. Mean Machine says, serious clone LGBT plus movie suggestion. If I clone myself and then use it to touch myself, am I gay? Two birds, one Connie. I don't know. How would that work?
So what was that again? Premise?
So if someone clones themselves and the clone touches them, does that make them gay? Or is it masturbation since technically you're doing it to yourself,
That's
even
a.
if it's another you?
I'm pretty sure this is the famous question that stumped Aristotle as well, right? Like he never answered it. It's a
We
tough
can we can
one.
puzzle out.
I was gonna
We're
say I
better than
think
him.
we could probably nail it. Gay or
Uh,
masturbation?
the thing
I mean,
is, well,
the
here's
second
another
you're
one for you.
cloned, they're kind of like epistemologically not you because they're already living a different like. And the second they're not you, it's not masturbation, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to assume they're another consciousness, aren't they? Like
Kinda.
they're
And this
obviously not
like
you. They're not you. They don't share your mind. So even if they've got the same traits as you, like they're a different person. So yeah, I'd say it's gay.
I think it's
Um,
gay. I think we cracked it.
but then, well, the other question is like, if say you cloned you, but like you had a female version of you, so that's
Hmm.
not gay. But then, is it technically incest?
I think that would
Because
have to be incest because that's like a more incest than a regular sister because that's close. That's like 1-to-1 with your DNA at that point, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Isn't that like that's like the point of incest, right? That you're commingling DNA that's way too close.
Yeah.
So,
I just always wonder, would you find them attractive or would you be repulsed by them? I don't know.
have you ever? This happened to me. There was a guy, like a friend of mine, a guy who just hanging out with him all the time. It's all great and everything. First time I meet his sister, and it is literally just his face, but
Oh
girl
God, that must
side,
have been weird.
and it is just like, whoa, what the fuck?
For some reason, all I can think of is Rimmer World from Red Dwarf, where it's like the concubines are just Rimmer, but like nobody's allowed to look at them except for the Emperor. Like, avert your eyes from her great beauty.
These are difficult scenarios to deal with. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what
these are
sci-fi
moral
is
questions.
for.
Hmm.
We get to explore this.
Yeah. Automata says, I heard Az walked out of Andor inside of 20 minutes because there was absolutely nothing of value in the show at all. Well, I dispute that. I
I
mean,
mean,
if Az wanted to walk out of it, it's fair enough. It's not exactly action packed.
I've said, and I think you can go back to when we were talking about it, that I understand people getting bored on those first episodes. However, when I decided, thanks to getting pushed by my audience, I'm pretty sure that was like the main thing, as well as your coverage as well. But because I was going to leave it alone, but people were like, nope, you have to see it, seriously see it. And I was like, I should because I'm trying to stay up to date with Star Wars. And then I was like so impressed, I rewatched it, ready for covering it, and those opening episodes were better than like on a second time around. So I was like, oh, they're setting that up. That's there. That's there. This is happening. This is like, oh shit, this was actually better than I realized. Like,
Yep.
because when you're coming off fucking Kenobi and Boba Fett, you're like, yeah, fine, okay. Look, it's this guy. I guess he's in some dreary place looking for his sister. Oh, he's just killed two people. I don't know, but like when you slow back down and you treat it like an actual TV show instead of like fucking circus that the other two are, I really think that because this is the thing, I feel kind of bad for Gary and Az that I think they love the prison part. I think they think it's great. I think they'd love Andy Serkis's performance in it.
Yeah, it's like if their opinions hadn't been tainted by so much absolute garbage in Star Wars, like I think they would have given this more of a chance
Do
and
you know?
might got
Um,
something out of it.
I showed two really good friends of mine, one of them being Fringy, uh, Buffy and Angel all the way through. And the genesis of me showing those two people was I was sitting in a call editing, and the two of them were discussing how absolutely right they were that if any show doesn't grab you within a couple of episodes, it doesn't deserve to be watched. And I was like, Buffy doesn't really earn being watched until season 3. And they were like, well, there's no fucking way I'd watch that. I was like, no, you will. You will. And then you'll recommend it to other people because trust me, you will.
I think that model worked a lot better in the days of Buffy, like back in the 90s, because you could kind of get away with that. There was less choice. I just think now, if you had a show where you had the same premise of like, well, it's okay the first season or two, but then it really gets going in season 3. because there's so many other things to choose from, people just will not invest the time in it. They just
Absolutely.
won't.
I this is the thing. I don't want to give the wrong message here. I think it's totally fair that Az made that decision. I think he made it well in terms of he's trying to spend his time wisely. The only thing now is that he's got two people he trusts very much saying you should push through, trust us, you should push through.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing that can change someone's mind on it, I guess. Like I said, with what they were saying in that call was basically like there is no show that's worth seeing if it's not going to hook you within it. I think they even said like, okay, if it goes fucking more than one season, no way. And then of course they watched it, and then they were like, ah, fuck, okay, that was so, like when you get to it was I think Free by the time he hit the end of season 5 of Buffy, he was like, yeah, okay, this is a great show. Yeah, fine. And I was like, but it creates this really weird scenario where you have to tell someone you might have to waste 2.5 seasons of you just not having fun, which sounds
Yeah.
absurd. And I totally understand it. Andor is obviously a much smaller scale thing where it's like you have to put up with I don't want to say you have to put up with 3 episodes. They're good. It's just that you might not draw much out of them, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, with Buffy as well, this was the old days where it was like 22 episodes a season, wasn't it? Like
Oh, the glory
proper
days, Drinker, the glory days.
the glory days, yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, okay, so you're gonna have to get through potentially like 40 odd hours
Yes, it
of
is
not
absurd.
good content. You know, you're
This
gonna
is
have to
you
put some
get
time in on this one.
you get these little heartbeats of like, oh wow, that scene was good, and then I'm sitting there like, later on you get a lot of that, so just
Yeah.
hang in there.
Okay, next one is Tom Abella says, Drinker and Mauler, when can we get a review or watch of LA Confidential? Russell Crowe has one of the all-time great character introductions. I mean, yeah, LA
That would
Confidential is a
be
thing we could do.
like an audio commentary thing. I think I don't think any fat movies would work for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Grimnack says, Drinker, I think you skipped my last super chat. Pretty sure I didn't because I've done all of them. Like everyone that's come through, I've read out. The Grood King says, should have been, my name is Con. Okay, yeah, I get you. He was a con. Keaton Kitsune says Disney fundamentally doesn't mesh well with Star Wars. As such, they have sunk almost every old male lead and character. Even the new ones they have created and have created themselves have tried replacing them with Disney princesses. Yes, I think I talked about that the other night. Yeah, Echo Chamberlain did a really good video about this, and it's just called the Disney Princess Problem, where they tried to port that mentality over to Star Wars, and it's just like, yeah, it's not compatible with that idea at all.
I should port some good writers over.
That'd be nice. Magnum Norse says Pedro Pascal is starring in a new gay western called Strange Way of Life, and the trailer is gold. I'm not joking. I mean, is that gold in like an ironic way, or like
From what I've
it's
heard, people
actually
can't figure
good?
out if it's parody or not. That's what I've heard.
Right, okay. Oh, Pedro, you're so fucking progressive. It hurts. Like,
Gay
at what point is it gonna?
cowboy.
Yeah, like yeah, we need that. Thanks. Will Holloway says, please show as the Peeping Tom comic covers up on eBay. I want to see his face looking at the perverted variant cover. What is this Peeping Tom thing? Because I've seen it mentioned on
Oh,
Twitter
it's this
from Az.
great narrative that's started randomly on Real BBC where Az plays a superhero in this alternate universe where he just wants to see boobies and he has the power to see through clothing. And so
Nice.
you'll be going through the night, you'll be running around, you'll look through windows and you'll see some boobies and he's real happy. But then unfortunately that lady might be attacked by some crazy villain and then he ends up saving her because he just happens to be there at the time, or in an attempt to have a look at some boobies, he bumps into like a monster and has to fight it. This is Peeping Tom's life. He's trying to live normally, but gosh darn
I,
it, he just has to be a hero.
I mean, shit, man. I would see that turned into a Marvel movie any day of the week.
Marvel
Do
would
it.
never pick that up,
Yeah,
even though
showing
they
boobs on
should.
screen. No one.
Imagine he got that email directly from like Kevin Feige. We'd like to adapt Peeping Tom, and we'd like you
Yeah.
to star.
Do it.
He immediately
Disco.
gets into like a StreamYard's called. It's just Kevin Feige legit. Az would fucking lose his mind. He'd be like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
We want Ryan Johnson to direct it.
Ugh.
Oh no, Taika Waititi, I think would be the better choice.
Both of them.
Disco Stews says Cinnamon Booby Snatch is terrible. I mean, well, what can we say?
All right.
Um, Sachu Sunny says, on a scale of 1 to 10, if the original trilogy is a 10, what is the prequel and the sequel trilogies? How would you rate them overall?
Hmm. If the OT, because like the scale is created not by quality of the films, but by the films, and so we
Hmm.
put Empire at 10. Or at least I would put Empire. That's my favorite. So where does the prequels go? Oof, probably. Well, if the scale is made of Star Wars films, I guess they're at like 6, 5, something like that, and then the sequels are heading all the way down to 2 and 1.
I'd say that's pretty fair, actually, yeah. To give the prequels a 6, I think that's alright. So, yeah.
Well,
And yeah,
in
the
in that
sequels, yeah, definitely.
context, okay, I'd probably rate them lower if we're doing my usual. Like,
I mean, if you rated them like based on like them at their best, then yeah, I think you'd probably get up to about 6. Like the best movie or the best moments and stuff, you know. Yeah, I think that's
there
fine.
is plenty to like about those films. I even pine for the days of having political discussions in those films. I can't believe it, but I do.
Yeah.
Anything to fucking world build in a way
Yeah,
that isn't
just
cringe.
give us something. Did you see the other day? I think I commented on this. It was like on Twitter, like someone had put up like these black and white, like fake fucking artsy images of like the cast of the sequel trilogy, just reading through the scripts, like
Oh
all
yeah,
looking
yeah.
very serious and stuff. And I'm like, I think someone on the comment section had just summed it up perfectly. It's like fuck off, like pretending like you're like studying Shakespeare or something. This is like the most garbage, low effort trash imaginable, and you're trying to imbue it with all this weight by making it all artsy and black and white. Like what the fuck?
The best of its reputation at this point, TFA specifically, is a bad ripoff of A New Hope. The worst of its reputation at this point is that it was the thing that destroyed Star Wars.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not looking good for TFA's legacy.
I just
Rewind
think
to when it came out, though. Whoa, its legacy was looking great.
oh yeah. But I just think like all these like particularly the experienced actors like Carrie Fisher or Harrison Ford or even Oscar Isaac. He's obviously a younger generation, but he's still pretty experienced.
Mm.
Reading that script and like not just bursting out laughing at how fucking stupid it is and how nothing makes sense and how contrived everything is. That's the thing. Like they must have been in their heads been thinking this is fucking trash.
The thing about it, I wonder about that with a lot of stuff. I wonder if actors, because they probably felt that way about A New Hope sometimes when they were filming that. Like, this is insane. This is nonsense. And then they're like, oh shit, okay, that worked out. And then when they feel like something's nonsense, like let's say TFA or TLJ or whatever, they'll be like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm just not getting it. Maybe it'll turn out great. Maybe,
Just like trust the process.
Yeah,
Like it'll
well,
be fine.
I don't know if you remember. I think we've talked about it before, but Scarlett Johansson said that she thought when filming Avengers that this was not going to work. This was insane and nonsense, and it didn't come together. But that when they did the scene where they all stand next to each other and the camera went around it, apparently she was like, "Wait, I think they've got something here. I think this might actually work."
Fair enough.
It worked,
It did.
unfortunately, I guess at this point.
Yeah, it worked until it didn't.
Hmm.
Squishy Beaner says, "Hey Drinker, will you be implementing a membership?" So yeah, this is like harkening back to another question that I had about this. Not for the time being because I don't feel like I've got enough to offer for channel memberships. Matros says Disney being shit storytellers should give new great stories a chance to flourish, whereas the new space opera, etc. Well, the difference is sorry, should I say the problem is that they've got so much fucking money behind them that they can dominate the box office, even if it is trash they're putting out. You know,
Hmm.
how you going to make a new epic space opera movie if you've got no budget behind you? Can't be done. That's the problem. It's impossible to break into right now. Ashitaka Amishi says, if you like Tim Burton's Batman, you should listen to the Channel Awesomes podcasts. What if Tim Burton directed Batman Forever and Batman and Robin? That'd be an interesting one, actually.
They might have been amazing films. Who knows? I really liked Tim Burton's take on Batman. I just
Yep.
enjoy the fuck out of it.
Jedi Brooks says, Major Lee and Cinematic Venom's EFAPs are must watches.
Yeah, they're we have every once in a while we'll do a thing and then it'll be like that's one that is like it's like the Avengers movies or something. It's like ones you can't miss.
Yeah. Simon O says Transformers movie. If you don't see it, then you're a transphobe. Darth Kennedy, feel the power of the woke side. Strike me down, and I'll come back and make more movies. May the cringe be with you. Well, it certainly is us. It is with us these days. What can I say? They give us so much to work with.
Closing in
Big
on
Day.
like a decade of cringe. Maybe we should stop.
I know. Yeah, we've had enough now. Big Dave K says, Drinker, your dog is too chill to be Scottish. Well, actually, it's funny. He's Irish because,
Mm.
yeah, he did his racing over in Ireland and then he was brought over to Scotland to get, like, rehomed and adopted. So there you go. He's an Irish doggo. Dredge says, Thank you for the streams. I drive a lot to work and enjoy listening to the discussions. And thank you, mods, for keeping the chat clean. Cheers. Tell the doggo I said hello. I will too. Thanks, man. Edward Morris says, Did you guys watch the Songbirds trailer yet? Songbirds? No, I've not
No.
seen that. Roscoe says, You talk about how movies are art and shouldn't be destroyed, but I ask, what about something like Cuties? Is that art? In my opinion, yes, it is, but not all art is valuable or needs to be created and get proper horror show on. Okay, yeah, so regarding things like Cuties, it's like, would the question be like, does it deserve to exist as a movie? Should it be banned? And I would say, well, it does deserve to exist as long as it doesn't break any laws. Do I find it distasteful? Yeah. And would I want to watch it? No. But then I recognize that, like, that's just my opinion on it. Yeah. And I think as long as it's legal, then it should be allowed to get made, and then people are free to critique it as they see fit. So, yeah, in that sense, it is a piece of art. It's an artistic work, but like you say, it might not necessarily have much artistic merit, and people might not like it, but it should be allowed to stand on its merits, I suppose. I guess that's where I'd come down on it.
Yeah, so it's genuinely a tough question because you don't want to set a precedent that can be exploited and then you can destroy artwork, under the guise of it or something. But that does regard possibly the only topic that mostly everyone who is normal agrees on is fucked up and should be stopped
Yep.
and destroyed. So yeah, it's a tough thing to make a proper ruling on because there are going to be countries that maybe have some things that are legal that we would find disgusting or something, and that appealing to the law may not be enough. So um, I'm not entirely sure exactly where I would land on that if it was in my control as to whether or not the movie would be destroyed entirely. It's a it's a tough one. The thing I have with that film, unfortunately, is a lot of people will be like, "Have you even seen it?" And it's like, "Of course I haven't fucking seen it.
Yeah,
Why the hell would I
yeah,
watch that?"
exactly.
And it's like, "Well, then how can you comment on it?" It's like, "Because I know what was done to create it. I'm not retarded."
Well, well, here's a different tack on this one, I guess. Then it's like you get a lot of horror movies that are like very exploitative, and it's just like pure gross out gore.
Hmm.
Like there's not one called like the Serbian movie or something, which is like
Right.
one of the most horrific things you can watch, and it clearly pushes the boundaries of what's acceptable in terms of cinema. But then I guess the question would be like, well, should it still be allowed to exist as a movie, or should it just be like banned outright on the grounds that it's just fucking horrific and like
This thing
there's nothing to
is
be gained by watching it?
it's really tough because if you had the portrayal of something that's absolutely abhorrent IRL, even to the point of like the worst things, but it's all done quote unquote legally with actors that are above age but look like they're not. Is like
Yeah.
should so and say that's the villainous character. It's like so should that be removed or should it not? And it's like, well, probably not, I guess. But yeah, it feels like it's probably the hardest place to really make definitive rulings on.
Because that's the sort of principle I'm trying to adhere to. Because like there, on the one hand, there's things that like would I watch it? And it's like, nope, I'm not gonna watch Cuties ever. I'm not gonna review it. I'm not gonna watch the Serbian movie or things of that ilk. But then do I recognize that like they can be allowed to exist? Like those are two sort of slightly separate questions. But yeah, man, it's I guess when you're getting into realms like that, it's a tough one to answer
Yeah, and
definitively.
like I said, someone could push it further and further, and then be like, Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones. It could be like that should be destroyed. That's way too far. It's disgusting. It's horrible. And you'd be like, oh well, no, no, that And you try to think to your head like, well, it shouldn't be destroyed because the whole point of the story is he's like a reprehensible piece of shit, and that's the kind of person that can get to that level, and that's why he needs to be stopped by the heroic characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Next one is Pyro Ronpa, who says, as was honest when he said that guy had a nice chest. I think that's super cool, I guess. And the last one is Rooster Cogburn, who says, wonderful conversation, well done. Thank you. That's a nice positive way to end it as well, isn't it? I
Yeah,
like that. That was good. Well, there we go. That's all the super chats done. So we made it to the end. And
beautiful.
I want to say thank you for you guys for asking us so many good questions. Like there were some genuinely good discussions I think came out of that, which is, sometimes it's more chill, sometimes you get like more interesting stuff, and you never quite know with super chats, but like this was great. I think we got some good thought-provoking stuff tonight. And
Agreed.
I'm sorry we couldn't do it all on the stream, but like, as we pointed out, it's just not possible to get through all of it on the night. That's why we do these catch-ups. But yeah, thank you for this. And the next time you see us will be on Open Bar on Thursday, where I guess we're going to be talking about Guardians because it's going to be out the day before, so it'll be a good
Shit,
opportunity.
yeah. All right.
So we'll need to get it watched, I suppose, before we do that, and assemble a crack team of top men to talk about it. But we'll get it sorted. Anyway, well, that's all we've got for this evening. So go away now.
Bye.